Since this week's show is all about the D23 convention and our thoughts and ideas, I wanted to throw out just a crazy question to start the show, which is if you could get rid of any ride at Walt Disney World, what would it be?
Oh, man. Ask them. I need to think.
Okay, Panda, go.
Winnie the Pooh. I am consistently.
Wow.
I am disappointed in that ride. It could stay Pooh, but it needs to be upgraded from cardboard pieces. Come on.
It can stay Pooh.
He wants upgraded Pooh.
I want upgraded Pooh. If you look at what they have in Japan, ours is so sad.
That is true. Yeah. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Magic Carpets of Aladdin in Adventureland.
Really?
I think it's stupid. I think it doesn't fit. We already have like 7 other Dumbo-style rides, 2 of which are at Magic Kingdom. I would like that plaza back opened up, maybe a little fountain, maybe a little more.
It's always so congested there.
Fitting with the theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's easy. We'll talk about it for our D23 predictions. Get rid of Journey into Imagination. Get rid of that whole entire place. For a ride built on imagination, it is the most least imaginative ride possible. I think it's an embarrassment.
Devoid of imagination.
I'm not even going to let you say one now because all the haters are just going to hate on Derek for the next.
I know, but I thought of one.
I know.
Okay, go.
No, Derek is not saying he wants it gone without a replacement. He wants it improved,
Right.
like I want Pooh improved.
Stay tuned. I will talk about my replacement, and you can still have your Figment meet and greet. So everybody calm down. You can still buy your Figment merchandise. You just don't have to go through a terrible ride to get it. That's all.
I have 2.
No.
Come on. One is gross.
No.
And the other will kill you. So I think that they're both can go.
No, I know exactly what both of these are. Let's see how well does Paul know his wife today. The one that is gross is Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
Yes.
Or Space Ranger Sticky, as she calls it.
It is so sticky.
And number 2 is Mission Space.
Yes.
And
oh
that
my
is,
goodness.
truthfully, they could just tear down that entire thing.
I don't even look over there anymore.
I don't know how people survive that. I actually don't think that people that ride it actually survive it. They just never come back into the park. Do you ever see people coming out of that ride after?
The orange side.
Just the orange. Well, the green one, though, is like PTSD after you've ridden the orange, so it's no better.
It's funny. I just spent 4 days with people that had never been to Disney World before, and we rode every single attraction at every single park except that one. Well, that should tell you.
Case in point. Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. I'm your host, Paul Krieger, joined as always by my lovely wife, Amy.
Hello.
We've got John Scary, aka Big Fat Panda, with us.
Welcome home, everyone.
Senior Sales Associate for the DVC Resale Market, Derek DeBoer.
Hey now.
And Jeff Haslam, who changes his background every single week, I think, at this point. So
It's going to be different next time, too, because I'm still unpacking.
Okay, well, we love what you're doing with the place. It's looking beautiful.
He's been unpacking for like 2 years now.
Yes.
It feels like
2 years later, we'll hear
we're in a
that
different house now.
He's still unpacking. Well, thank you all for tuning into this week's episode. Technically, all 5 of us got together about a week ago at this point trying to film this, and the internet gods were not in our favor that night. It was storming, and I have figured out that the storms in Florida do not do good with the internet. If it storms, the internet says no. We do not participate. So luckily, there doesn't seem to be any storms in the forecast tonight. But we are talking all things D23 this week and giving our predictions for what we might hear from the upcoming D23 convention in Anaheim, California. For those of you that are new here or don't know what the D23 convention is, it is a huge convention that is in the Anaheim area of California, right next to Disneyland. And every 2 years, I believe it is, they hold a kind of just a big Disney convention. Think like the Comic-Con for Disney nerds. So there's going to be various different panels. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on. We are not going to the convention, but you will guarantee that we will be glued to our television set for it. The dates are August 9th through the 11th, with Saturday, August 10th being the Disney Parks panel, where we will hopefully learn all kinds of new things coming to the Disney parks and resorts. I believe that starts at like 10 p.m. Eastern time on that Saturday. So it is super late, which would be like 7 in California. So we're going to be up late that day, but the next morning on Sunday, August 11th, stay tuned for a special live stream where we unpack everything that was discussed, share our thoughts. Do we love it? Do we hate it? Is it a miss? Is it a win? All of that kind of fun stuff. So join us for that live stream, and then also just check out all the content on dvcfan.com and on all of our other sites once all of the news breaks. Amy and I will be just typing like crazy that night as new things are announced. But I thought it would be fun to kind of just go around and talk about the various segments of what we would call Disney parks and resorts, and sort of say, what we love, what we might want to see more of, and any kind of really big predictions for the future. Derek is texting me as I'm actually talking, just telling me to say more and more things. Derek, do you want to say something about Summerfest?
Yes, I just wanted to, before we delve into D23 with all of our amazing predictions, I just want to give a shout out and a big thank you for Paul and Amy for, of course, organizing our DVC Fan Fest that we did, the live show from the Treehouse, which was so much fun and just so great. And most importantly, for all the folks that took time from their vacation to come out to Disney Springs, to come and hang with us and to, grab a bucket hat and a hug from all of us and take some pictures. It was so humbling and it was so great. And it's just a reminder that you guys are absolutely the best audience out there possible. So we are just so blessed for each and every one of you. And we have already ran it up to the powers that be that said this was such a huge success and we had so much fun. So we need to do more of them. So I'm hoping that D23 announces more DVC Fan Fest and meetup. He probably will.
That would be quite a flex if Josh D'Amaro's on stage announcing one of those. But yeah, completely echo everything that Derek said. It was an amazing weekend, an amazing opportunity to just meet so many of you and really get to know what you guys love about DVC and how you love the shows that we put out and the education that we put out, so that it helps you be more informed as a Disney Vacation Club member. So big love to all of you that came out. Big love to everyone that tuned in to the live stream from our Saratoga Treehouse that day. And just an all around amazing event. So, So D23, before we get to it, as always, if you love this content, please show some love for our sponsors over at the World of DVC, DVC Resale Market, if you're looking to buy or sell a Disney Vacation Club contract, Monera Financial, who can help you finance that DVC resale contract purchase, and the DVC Rental Store, where you can try before you buy, rent out some points, or rent your own points. So you have probably at this point either listened to several different podcasts on this similar topic. I feel like everyone's kind of doing this because we all kind of have our thoughts and opinions, but everyone does it a little bit different. So for us, we're going to kind of go through the different segments of Disney and Disney parks and experiences and talk about what we might want to hear about or see. And there's no better place to start than with Disney Vacation Club. And I will just throw this out there to whomever wants to answer. Do you think we will get any kind of Disney Vacation Club related announcement coming out of the D23? And if so, what do you think it might be? Derek, always raising his hand first. So
I just hope that they absolutely do not announce a new DVC resort. That's what I'm hoping for. I really hope. We're done. No more resorts. This D23 needs to be filled with so much stuff. We're going to talk about it, but I know they're not going to announce a new park. But so much new stuff needs to happen versus another Disney Vacation Club resort. So I truly hope that they don't. I hope maybe if they do, maybe they share some stuff on, hey, this is what the Bay Lake Tower refurb is going to look like, or this is what the Animal Kingdom refurb is going to look like. Just don't announce another Disney Vacation Club resort. We have enough for right now. That's me.
I don't know. I want another resort.
Where do you want a new resort?
I just love expanding my options, but also we aren't full-time in the parks all the time. You know what I mean? So a lot of DVC vacationers spend a lot of time in the parks, but as they continue to be DVC members, they will probably relax that a little bit. And so it's nice to have other resorts to, I don't know, I want to see them build something over by Fort Wilderness on the Reflection site, and I would love to see a flip of some space like Coronado Springs or Yacht Club, that adds some DVC over there. I feel like we didn't get really any DVC news last year, did we? At D23?
So D23 is every 2 years, but I don't.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So 2 years ago, we really didn't receive much, I think, in terms of Disney Vacation Club. I think a lot of the Disney Vacation Club announcements have been coming out of just random times of the year recently.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest announcement previously for a Disney Vacation Club property out of D23 that I recall was Reflections, in which they did show some concept art for Reflections. And, Reflections, I think, is the biggest question mark around D23 this year is, do they pull that back out? And I kind of have to think they might. I think, at this point, it's the easiest kind of flex. And if you start to think about it, if you really...
Today's word is flex.
Is it?
That was the second time you said it.
Oh, well. But when you start to think about the property over there and Fort Wilderness, I've actually been following some forums and some people talking about what adding to that property site would do. And if they could actually take and build whatever they want to build on the Reflections site. So let's say that they keep the Reflections concept, it would be a first for Disney to kind of keep the original design and thought process of what they were building, but after it's been canceled, but it's very possible that they do so. But if they take that property and pull it into basically the trust, so go back, watch our trust show where we talked about the Palmetto Trust for hours. But the Palmetto Trust, which the cabins at Fort Wilderness is a part of. So you pull it into essentially the trust or the association for those cabins, you solve a couple different problems that you're having with those cabins. First, you now have more appealing accommodations that you can sell to people at that resort. Mm-hmm. You also have more accommodation options outside of just the one-bedroom cabins, most likely, studio, 2-bedroom. The original Reflections concept had some basically lakeside cabin type concepts as part of them as well. But the bigger thing you do is, and credit goes to the people on Disboards for kind of unpacking this, but if you were to do that, you could theoretically bring down the annual dues of the entire association or the entire trust, which is one of the biggest negatives about the cabins at Fort Wilderness right now. So you could technically kind of bring all of that down and make it a more appealing all-around property. So maybe this has been part of the grand scheme of things all along. I will throw this out into the rumor mill, and then I'll get off my soapbox about Reflections. But I was told that there was a mention of Reflections on this year's DVC member cruise, and I don't think it was supposed to be said. I've not been able to confirm that. And so that's why we very much, even for a rumor article, I need like 2 or 3 sources to tell me something before I can actually confirm something. But, take that for what it's worth.
What does Derek know?
It just cracks me up because lately they've been really good at saying stuff when they're not supposed to be saying stuff.
Right.
So I think go back to December when they talked about the Polynesian and the Condo Association. So they're doing great. That kind of, letting their tongue slip. I think it'd be cool, but my God, they just have so much live inventory right now between out there in California. And of course, they have Alani, and then they have the Riviera, and then they're going to have the Polynesian soon. That I think the last thing of what they want is that, let's say that they announce, DVC's coming to the beloved, Port Orleans or Amy's Coronado. The last thing they want is someone looking at Disney Vacation Club saying, oh, I'm going to wait because I'm waiting to buy Coronado or I'm waiting to buy Port Orleans. I just think that they've got so much live stuff that they don't want to, let people, I need to think about it and figure out which one I want. They've just got so much right now, but yeah.
Jeff, give us your thoughts.
I'm with Amy. I would like to hear something new on the horizon, even if it takes them, 3 or 4 years to build something to say, hey, we're getting this. But I'm also in Derek's camp where I think DVC is such a small niche of the larger Disney community. This D23 really has to make a big splash if with Epic Universe coming down the road, and even SeaWorld and Busch Gardens opening new roller coaster. Like, Disney just hasn't done anything wowing in a long time. And I think this is the year that they really have to tell their people, we have plans, we have money, we have plans. It can't be this blue sky nonsense that we've been doing in the past. We need something big. And I'm just not sure Disney Vacation Club makes that splash for most people. So I don't think we're going to hear much. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Even in the past events, it's never been like a huge thing. It's been always like a glaze over. It's like one slide, hey, we're doing this. And then go to the DVC booth where we've got more pictures and more information and stuff like that. So, Panda.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Jeff. I mean, they cannot do that blue sky. Maybe we'll do this. They have to come out with legitimate, this is happening. But I don't think it has to be if this, not that. I think we probably will hear something DVC. I don't know if it's a new resort, though. But maybe some more big details on what's going on at the Poly. Do we know what's going on with the Tangaroa Terrace area? What they're doing? I know they're doing something with that building.
Nope.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm waiting for something big. I'm waiting for them to tell me a dinner show is back in some way, form, but I guess not. But I'd like that.
Based off the look of the tower, there will be a new restaurant that's coming in there. I think they did confirm that in the previous stuff because they said it's going to be like the first all electric kitchen.
Isn't Tangaroa Terrace at Disneyland?
I thought that wasn't that the building in the Poly that we used to have breakfast in like 20 years ago?
Yeah. And then
Is that
now
what it was called?
It just sits empty right now, and it's a huge building.
It must be in the same, because Tangaroa Terrace is also the quick service at Disneyland Hotel.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
But there is work going on there now. I don't know what it is, but remember when they said the construction is going to continue through to 2026? That's part of it. So I want to know what's going on with that. It's a big space. I wish they do something.
I have seen them working in there. Yeah.
Yeah. They need to.
Space. I would love to see it turn into a clubhouse, like a clubhouse for the members, because they just don't have one. And between the new tower and the already rooms at the existing Poly, I think to have a clubhouse, like a really great killer clubhouse, would be a huge asset for people.
Isn't that very close to where the bus area is, though?
Yeah,
is it
it's close,
okay.
but not close, but not right there. But it's close.
Yeah. Okay, they're reworking the bus loop as part of the construction. So hopefully they're not just gonna demo that building, but we'll wait and find out. But it would be nice to kind of get some more details about the Polynesian. I almost think we might get a little bit of that before the actual D23 convention. I think they've already started kind of just dropping little nuggets here and there of like little new things going on. We already know that as of this show going up later this week, we're going to get all kinds of new information regarding the Disney Destiny, which is the third Wish Class ship joining Disney Cruise Line, which I think is a little bit of a nice pivot towards, do we think there will be any Disney Cruise Line related announcements? We've got, at this point, we've got 3 new ships on the horizon that we know about. 1 delivered later this year, 2 next year, but there's nothing essentially past 2025. There's 1 in 2029, 28 is the new Tokyo Disney Cruise Line ship. So that's the only other ship that we know about, but any Disney Cruise Line news?
I could see, and I read it in another forum or another page or something where someone made the prediction saying that they could see that Disney announces that they're going to retire the Magic and the Wonder and replace them with new ships. So like for 2028 or 2029 or something like that.
I feel like, are they that old? Doesn't seem like they're that.
That would be my only thing, is I don't know that they're
I would be so sad because I didn't even get to go on them yet.
I would love
it. Would be like retiring Jeff at this point. He's still useful.
Yeah.
I don't know why we would.
You know what? I'm on board with retirement. Let's get that done right now.
I like the thought process of that though, Derek, and I would take that a step further. Royal Caribbean's kind of been toying around with this idea for some time, which is that these smaller ships can only are able to go to more ports. So they're able to go to some more exclusive destinations. So the Magic and Wonder, that's why the Wonder sails to Alaska every single year, is because they are smaller and they're able to move through that area. Now, the Quantum of the Seas with Royal Caribbean sails that area as well, and it's larger than the Disney Dream and the Wish class ships. So they could take one of the bigger, newer ships into that area, but it would almost be cool to see them kind of make a more like a smaller, more exclusive Disney Cruise Line ship, which is what Royal Caribbean's been talking about doing, which is like remaking their smaller fleet of ships to kind of appeal to these destinations where not every single giant boat can go.
I mean, I
The
read
Magic
it.
and the Wonder.
Got to be true.
The Magic and the Wonder have their fans that would be mad.
Yeah, I don't think that it would be literally retiring them and selling them off and then building new ships. They could revamp them, like you said, and keep the names and, just enhance them some. But I've not been on either of their ships, and I want to go on them before they do that. And I'm too cheap to book a Disney cruise right now.
Jeff, do you think there's any chance of another Disney cruise ship being announced?
I don't think another new ship. I think, as far as DCL is concerned, I think we'll get updates. Like maybe what they'll highlight more of what they've already kind of announced. Things like the Destiny, or maybe some more treasure news, or maybe some itineraries even maybe. But I don't think a new ship yet. And I have thoughts, but we're going to come back. Remind me to come back to that later, because I'm writing it down.
So the $1 million question that I think a lot of people have is surrounding Walt Disney World. So that is where the bulk of Disney Vacation Club members end up vacationing, and that is where we last time at D23, to Jeff, your point, and Panda's point earlier, we got a lot of what ifs or blue sky. It's we might do this at some point if you like it, and the internet gods are nice to us in their review of what we talked about today. So, speaking specifically of some of that blue sky, do we think that we're going to kind of get some concrete information about Beyond Big Thunder, and also kind of the new additions that will take over the Dino Land area at Animal Kingdom?
I think with everything that they've said, rumor mill's been churning. If they don't announce this Dino Land replacement, the people are going to light the building on fire. And I've seen a lot of the forums that there's the diehard people that need Dino Land in their lives. And I just spent an unbelievable amount of time there this weekend, and it can't stay. It just can't. The ride itself is bad. The area surrounding it is bad. There's no wait for it ever. It's just got to go. And they've already kind of said they're going to. So if we don't get concrete, hard announcements, people are going to go insane. As far as Beyond Big Thunder, I don't think they're there yet. I don't think they're ready. If they do anything, it's going to be more of this. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. I don't think they're. I don't think they're there.
Do they do the arms come with?
I'm gonna agree with Jeff on Dino Land and say that they absolutely have concrete stuff for Beyond Big Thunder that we're going to hear about. That's what my hope is. That's what
Panda.
That's what I think. I think they know exactly what they're going to do with Beyond Big Thunder.
I don't think they can come out 2 years later after all that and have nothing 2 years later. So
and on the eve of Epic Universe opening in Orlando, there has to be something.
There has to be expansion.
There has to be some sort of expansion. There has to be some new kind of land concept. Just. And almost, I think at this point, they've got to give some rough timelines. I think they've got to really give us an idea of what this looks like. Now, we know there's been a lot of permitting activity on both areas over the past few months. We know that, the Dino Land project is happening. When it's happening and in what timeline it's happening, that's the big question. Is it going to be a Tron-like project that takes 5 years? Or is this something that they're going to really put a lot of construction effort behind? And the same goes for Beyond Big Thunder. my thing I come back with beyond Big Thunder is why add more to the park that is the busiest of all of the parks at Walt Disney World?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because and if you are going to do that, I think that they need to make another entrance point somehow so that you can either get to that area a little bit easier. It just it is so congested as it is, and it reminds me of Disneyland. Disneyland has been notorious for this over the years, and you try to walk through the New Orleans Square area of Disneyland at a certain time, and it is just bumper to bumper traffic. And so they're kind of turning Magic Kingdom into that as well. Go ahead, Derek.
I just have a question. And then for those folks that maybe are listening and maybe are kind of like, well, what were they talking about doing to Dino Land? Just kind of to bring you up to speed. Everyone knows that it's going. I mean, they're going to announce, I think it's called what? Disney's Southern Tropics or Southern Americas or something like that, where it's going to be an Encanto house, an Encanto attraction of some kind, and then dinosaurs going away. And their rumor has it they're going to put in an Indiana Jones one. So similar to the one that's out there at Disneyland. So that's what they're talking about for those. Those seem pretty concrete. I literally am curious because I've always heard for the last 2 years, beyond Big Thunder. Like, what exactly is going to be on Big Thunder? Like, what were they talking about? Because I cannot for the life of me recall what they were talking about.
I feel like I remember them bringing up Encanto, but then that would fit more over in Animal Kingdom. I remember a villains type theme. Am I just
Villains
making stuff up?
No. All these things were circulated.
Yeah, I remember.
And also a Peter Pan like expansion, like a Neverland, and also a Zootopia was talked about. But here's the thing, and I'm with Paul 100% on this, and I literally just spent 4 full days in a row, rope drop to fireworks every single day at all the parks. And I'm here to tell you, Magic Kingdom is really difficult to do in a day without Genie Plus, without waiting in lines, and getting all 37 attractions done in one day. Meanwhile, over at Animal Kingdom, there's 4 attractions that are worth doing, and then another 2 that are meh. Hollywood Studios, there's seven attractions that everybody wants to ride because they're the best ones. And Epcot, there's like Frozen and a rat thing and the Soarin' that we've had forever. Like, if they just dump more and more attractions into Magic Kingdom, they don't have a handle on what people want. They just don't. There's too much room for expansion at the other parks. And I've been saying this when people start talking about a 5th gate. We've got to get those other 3 parks up to the point where people can spend a full day with their kids. That's the key. Is there's nothing to do for kids at Hollywood Studios. You can ride Mickey and Minnie, you can ride Alien Swirling Saucers, maybe Toy Story Mania, but other than that, they got to sit on the sidelines while you ride Rock and Roller and Tower of Terror and Star Wars. Indiana Jones has got to go, and they got to expand Hollywood Studios in a big way.
For anyone watching the show,
That's
Jeff is streaming this entire thing on his cell phone because he recently moved and his internet's a little sketchy, but it's so much better than what we were dealing with last week, which was my internet's fault. But so when you get the robot Jeff throughout that section, you'll understand, or if you're listening,
Sorry about that.
You will have never known that anything went wrong. But in talking through this with all of you, are we all in agreement then? And I'll start with my wife on this. Are we all in agreement that we are not going to hear about a 5th gate or anything of that sort?
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
They're crazy if they do.
To Jeff's point though, talking about expanding, like Animal Kingdom. Okay, when is the last time, and Jeff, you might have done this the other day, but when is the last time any of you guys have been to Conservation Station? You've
Jeff did it the other day.
But that's because you were taking people that had never been there before and you were doing everything. But before that, when's the last time?
Facts.
He goes there every 3rd Wednesday.
Well, here's the thing is we've got some other friends that live in Jacksonville. You guys know them, Tracy and Rob.
Yep.
Every time they come, they go. And
Why?
it's because their kids like to draw.
Oh, well, they can put that anywhere. That can be moved anywhere.
You're 100% correct. And they should put it somewhere else to not force people on the 15-minute train ride to nowhere.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there are people that go out there.
But wouldn't a train
no,
ride to Zootopia be pretty
Yes,
neat?
or the train
Oh,
ride
yeah.
that
I
actually
can't believe you said that,
matches-
Paul.
That's what I've been thinking of. So it actually looks like
Yes.
when she gets on the train and you go through all the different
try everything.
You go through the
Yeah.
rainforest and you go through the tundra.
And all you have to do at this point is mimic what they did with the Hogwarts Express over at Universal. You mimic that technology.
Exactly.
You have that same window technology where you've got screens in the
Yep.
window where it's like
Yep.
it's showing you
The
that you're
train then
actually
becomes
headed
an attraction.
there. Yeah, like, and that's gonna actually
That's-
get people to that side of the park. Like,
That's
And they
a
have
way
enough room in Conservation
than I
Station
had
to
thought.
build a Zootopia attraction.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way better Zootopia prediction than I had thought, because I thought my thing that I wrote down here for Animal Kingdom was obviously replace It's Tough to Be a Bug with Zootopia, with
Well,
some
that
kind
is-
of Zootopia 3D movie or something
That-
like
that's
that.
been
That could
rumored.
work.
That-
but I like
that is-
that idea way better.
that is
Way better.
factual. So that is what we do know is replacing Tough to Be a Bug right now is the
It
last.
is?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So previously
Derek
announced.
thinks he's Nostradamus now.
So it was previously announced a long time ago at this point that they were replacing Tough to Be a Bug and actually going to revamp that entire theater, which is desperately needed, and put in kind
I
of
like Tough to
it's a
Be Bug.
cute show.
They could
but
just have redone the
fun.
show. Where's all the Tough to Be a Bug stuff? It'll be gone,
yes.
and it belongs in Animal Kingdom.
Well,
Or you think the movie is fading into the
Fading.
yes. Yeah, it's.
I feel like we're completely losing theming, though. Think about it. They went crazy to tell you why the bugs lived under the roots of the tree. Now it's
Yeah.
Zootopia. And how are they going to fit
Mhm.
Indiana Jones into Animal Kingdom? We're just
Right.
killing theming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't seem to fit. But
They'll
Epcot,
probably have
Epcot
real
does that
snake.
too.
Real snakes.
So you mentioned Epcot. Let's head over to that park. Disney has previously reported that Epcot, the transformation of Epcot is complete, even though it seems like half of it is still construction walls and open grass and trees. And Derek,
Do you know the new lights over by Walt's statue have not worked for like the last 2 weeks?
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard that. I heard that they recently installed some sunshades in the other pavilion area because it was too sunny. That pavilion though, you want to talk about something that just totally missed the mark from the original concept art that we got of a 2-story pavilion years ago to something that looks like just a convention hall that you might as well rent out booth space to. I heard that the World of DVC is going to be renting a booth in that convention hall. But Derek, you kind of had you looked like you had some strong feelings about Epcot. So what are your hopes for the future of Epcot?
I did. So I love Epcot. It's hands down my favorite park. It's the park that I like to go to with my wife, say if it's like a Friday and we could head over and just even walk around World Showcase. But I'm thinking, okay, for Epcot alone, what would I love to see at my favorite park? And I went through a whole list. For them to announce would make me very, very giddy. Would obviously be the first one. They need to announce that the Journey into Imagination Pavilion is being replaced by Inside Out. So they're going to do something with Inside Out, which just became the highest grossing animated movie of all time. For them not to do anything with Inside Out at that pavilion would be a huge travesty. So I want to see that. I want to see the Mexico boat ride. Of course, everyone loves the Three Caballeros, but and talked about Coco forever. Just finally do it. Put Coco into the Mexican boat ride. You need that one. They also need a new Soarin' movie. I would love to see any kind of a new Soarin' movie. I would love to see, and I know it's not a huge announcement, but I think it'd be great if they announced that, hey, we're adding some new music to Guardians of the Galaxy, just because they've had the same songs from the very beginning. So I think people would be excited if they just even announced some new songs. And finally, I think it would be great if they announced another country. So I think it would be great if they finally announced a new country around World Showcase. I'd love for that country to be Greece, but that's just my opinion. So I would happily take one of those 5 predictions. Hopefully I'm not going to get 0. If I can get 3 for 5, I'd be super, super happy.
So let's unpack what we know is actually happening at Epcot. Even though they say it's finished, which I find funny, Test Track is now down for a complete overhaul and going
Complete.
to be gutted, for the lack of better term.
I feel like we've been promised a new country forever in the
We-
World
yeah,
Showcase.
we
so
have
to
been.
say it's done, that's
The other question is Spaceship Earth. We've previously heard, rumors of, well, it's previously been announced that was going to be going down and completely gutted and refurbished. So I don't know how, if you're Disney, you come out and say, hey, we're done. Especially with a park that in Walt's vision was always evolving. I think it's it's kind of, it doesn't go to the core of what Epcot is to ever say that it is done. And I kind of, Derek, to your point, I hope that they kind of take that approach when they talk about it at the convention, if they do add some more to Epcot, and maybe kind of revisit the idea that, Epcot would be finished forever. It will always be expanding. And, here are some of the additional things that we are going to bring to this amazing theme park. So.
Oh, sorry. One more thing that I'd love to see, which would be, I'd be completely thrilled with this. If they bring back, obviously, just for a limited time at Epcot, the Tapestry of Nations.
Oh,
night
yes.
That was hands down the coolest parade ever. And to see it go around World Showcase, that music, it just gives me goosebumps to this day. So for them to bring it back again, they're, limited time for 15 months, whatever it is, to announce that to come back would make people very, very happy.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Panda, Jeff, any thoughts for Epcot?
I'm agreeing with a lot of what Derek just said. The Imagination Pavilion, there was talk about it supposed to be inside out like 5-6 years ago. Right. And then it started to turn into an original IP for Figment and Dreamfinder, which I personally would love to see, like a trackless ride, kind of like Phantom Manor, but just be with Figment and Dreamfinder. But now with Inside Out 2 being, the highest grossing animated film of our time, I can see it happening where it becomes Inside Out 2. Spaceship Earth, it wasn't really a regutting. It was like lights and stuff. It wasn't a big thing. I think they can still do that easily. And I do want to see another country. I thought we were going to get Brazil for a while, and then they had fires, and that was kind of like
I remember
swept
Brazil.
under the rumor.
Yeah.
Greece would be great. And it looks like Test Trek is going to get really a gutting, like really be different. So that would be nice.
That'll be big. Yeah, it is. It's such a wonderful park, and I think the more they invest in it, the better. Moving over to Hollywood Studios, do we think, so the two question marks that come up over at Hollywood Studios very frequently are Toy Story Land, which has been very successful, and then obviously Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Do you think we're at a point where something in terms of an expansion of either of those two areas is announced?
I'll go because I didn't get to talk about Epcot. I'll talk about this one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
He just skipped right over you.
A hard time.
We thought your internet was
I wouldn't have changed anything that anybody said. I just spent the weekend there, like I've said already, and the Indiana Jones show is a shell of what it used to be. They cut out the third scene altogether while we were there because of technical difficulties. Half of the second scene, there was no fire, no truck blowing up. Half of the audience participation has been gone since COVID. I don't even know what the point of that show is anymore, because it used to be like a 25-minute experience and you're in and out of there in like 8 minutes. And that's a lot of real estate over there to take out. Yeah. To take it out and give us a land. Give us Zootopia or Encanto or Frozen. I don't even care. I don't even care what it is. Like I just
give it to me.
Give me an e-ticket attraction that eats up people so that there's not 7,000 people in line for the 3 good rides at that park. Mm-hmm. Like we make it a mini land, like New Fantasyland over at Magic Kingdom, where there's 3 or 4 different IPs in there. I don't care, but it's got to be that show's got to go, and we need fresh.
I'm trying to remember, how did Hollywood Studios survive before Toy Story, Galaxy's Edge, and Mickey and Minnie's? I know we've been there before all that. Is just Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror?
It barely survived. That's why you went.
The tour.
They had the show, the car show, the stunt show.
I remember liking that show.
The car show. The backlot tour was amazing. I don't know why they ever got rid of that.
That was gone well before my time.
That was such a people eating machine. You know, and it took up a lot of time.
we keep talking about people eating, and Jeff said he went to Magic Kingdom and it was crowded. Do you remember when they announced that theater that was going to open up the second street to the right? When you wouldn't that be great? That would be the greatest thing to come back, since they use that backstage area anyway. Give us the theater, soak up the people in Magic Kingdom. We could see a good show and relieve the park. But I hope we get that again. But
could you imagine something like Rogers the Musical coming to Magic Kingdom?
Yeah, right.
Like, and they
need
couldn't
that.
do that because of the whole fight with Universal, but that would be super cool. Like something like that to go into that. In talking about, you guys were talking about IP, and Derek, you mentioned Inside Out 2 becoming the highest grossing animated film of all time. I think we're about on the cusp of another very high grossing film, which is going to be Deadpool and Wolverine. And
Really?
I don't know that Deadpool is one of the banned attractions or not, but could you imagine like a Deadpool coaster or something like that in the parks?
he's doing a meet and greet in Disneyland,
he is,
which is weird to me.
Yeah.
That seems really weird.
But
Well, and here's another prediction I have for Hollywood Studios, and this could fit in my perfect idea over there at what was once Indiana Jones. Now it's Wish version or Temu version of Indiana Jones. And that's, I heard on the internet, so it must be true. I think 2026, the franchising theme park rights to The Simpsons expires at Universal. Universal's already looking at Pokemon to replace that. I would love a legitimate Simpsons land in Hollywood Studios with the town and the Quickie Mart and a ride.
I don't know that I can see that.
I love people that love The Simpsons, but it is the one IP that Disney has acquired where I'm just like, this feels dirty. This feels weird. I don't know of a better way to put it than that. Well, I guess Deadpool falls into that category as well. But they've kind of integrated Deadpool into the Marvel universe a little bit. And they're doing that, with this film, and obviously we're going to see a lot more Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds in the future because that man just prints money. But I don't know. Like Simpsons is just like whenever I go to Universal, I'm like, yes, Simpsons belongs here. Like I don't know why, but that's what I say to myself. So
when you get some time, go on to Disney Plus and watch the crossover episodes that they've done.
They are
Simpsons
funny. Yeah.
Disney ones and the Simpsons Star Wars ones. It's not as stretch of the imagination as you think it is. Give it a shot.
All right. I'm open-minded.
I can't see it at the studios, but those are funny cartoons.
When I taught 7th grade and we read The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, there was a really good Simpsons version where Lisa reads it and it like gets acted out, and I used to show that because it was just a really easy way for them to understand it a little bit better.
The Simpsons have predicted all major milestones in the history of the past 20 years. So I want to come back to Walt Disney World one last time to kind of finish this off, but I do want to jump over to the original park, Disneyland in California, real quick. And just sort of say, do we think that we're going to see anything that's, obviously, yes, there will be some Disneyland announcements. Do you think we're going to see a lot related to the Disneyland Forward project? Or do you think that we're still not there yet and it's going to be kind of, how did Jeff do it? Here's what we think we're going to do. I don't remember the arm motion that you did. But do we think we're going to see some, announcements? The big thing in Disneyland is obviously the thought of a third park and a third gate, which I think is part of the Disneyland Forward project. But are we going to get some concrete announcements about this actually coming off the ground? Or is this just going to kind of be a building year for Disneyland where maybe we get a couple smaller announcements here and there?
I don't think we're going to hear much. I think the big Disneyland announcement is going to be whatever this Avatar thing is that they're doing and where that's going to go. I think Disneyland Forward, it just barely got approved, and I just don't think they've got the infrastructure ready to go yet. I think we're going to have to wait till the next go round.
Derek had no opinion on Disneyland.
I do not. As much as everyone loves it, I cannot contribute. No one wants to hear me contribute about Disneyland. I hadn't been there since I was a fetus, so I absolutely know nothing about the park.
We've got to take Derek to Disneyland.
That would be fun.
He's so missing out.
Mickey ears on top of his head. It would be a good time.
They're gonna announce they're gonna give more details on the Country Bear Barbecue.
That was such a weird. Yeah, that was such a
Fest.
weird
I don't
announcement
really know what it's
too.
called.
Amy, we've been to Disneyland a couple times. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you would like to see out there?
Oh goodness, I don't know. You've asked me too soon. I
So
feel
it's
like
a no.
No, I mean, like, I love Disneyland, and I feel like it's definitely not somewhere you're going to go and you need to spend a week. For us, it's 2 days, and then by the third day, we're just kind of
Redoing some things.
walking around and redoing something.
Yep.
So it would be nice to see an expansion there, but I don't want to lose sight of the fact that I can walk to everything. Everything needs to still be kind of close by. That intimate feeling is what I really love about Disneyland. So.
Yep.
So you're saying they're not going to announce a quote unquote people eating attraction, correct?
We've said that more than the other word that I said earlier in the show. So, we're talking about people eating. For Disneyland,
It harkens back to the flex.
Oh boy, here we go.
They don't have enough hotels, though. I will say that. That's the opposite of what Derek said at Disney World.
I would like to see Disneyland just kind of sit in kind of a state of being for a year or two without construction walls. The one thing that I think we touched on already is the Avatar attraction, and then also there is supposed to be the big e-ticket Avengers based attraction still coming.
Yeah,
so
getting about
and
we might hear about that.
Well, we've heard so many snippets of that it's either you go all in on this and tell us when it's opening at this point, and that you've actually been building it and we haven't known about it, or
right, because the current attraction there is definitely not
the Spider-Man web
it's
slinger.
It's not the what's the word? The
People
pièce de résistance. It's not that impressive. It might eat some people, but they're not that happy when they're spit back out. I mean, it's okay. I just thought it was boring.
All right. I feel like we've talked a little bit about everything across all of the part. We've not talked about everything. What have we missed?
No. Before we wrap up, I do want to throw out, because I spent days writing all of these predictions. So before let me rattle them off, just in case, for whatever reason, any of them become true.
Be a really long list.
That's what I was going to close with. Is we're going to go around the room. What are your predictions or dreams? And so, audio listeners, this will be kind of an audio book since Derek took days to write all of these down. So we're going to start with Derek. The rest of us can probably take a 17-hour break, and then we'll come back. And
he's got his Carol Channing.
He's got the glasses on. He's
too.
ready. I'm just going to let Derek go. Derek, give us your thoughts. Give us your predictions. We'll see how
They're
many match with what the rest of us have.
The glasses are already steaming up. I'm so excited to read these. So any of these, I've already talked about Epcot. So I've already went through those. Magic Kingdom, I think, would be awesome if they announce, say, the return, again, for a limited time, of Spectrum Magic. So bring back Spectrum Magic, announce that. I think people would be super pumped about it. Hollywood Studios, we did talk about that. One thing we didn't talk about, which I would love for them to announce because it's so overdue, just replace Aerosmith on the Rock and Roller Coaster with the Muppets. Just do it already. So I know it's either the Muppets or it's going to be Goofy, because they say the Goofy movie and the music and all that stuff. Either one of those two would be great, but it's time for Aerosmith to go. And then finally, these are some miscellaneous predictions that I would love to have happen that I know it won't. One is the return, y'all can start laughing now, the return of Magical Express, which I know is not going to happen. If they did announce it to come back, it ain't going to be free. But I think it'd be cool if they did announce the return of Magical Express. I would love to see finally any sort of Skyliner expansion, like whether to, Animal Kingdom over to Animal Kingdom, or also included over there at Coronado in that whole area. I think any kind of Skyliner expansion would be amazing. And I say it's amazing, and I've never even been on the Skyliner still to this day, but I think people would.
What?
I know.
You've never been on the Skyliner?
I never have.
You broke Panda. You have legit broke Panda.
I haven't.
I really?
No, I've never been on it. And it's not that I'm afraid of it or anything else. I've just never kind of had a reason to get on it and be able to do it. So I'm planning on taking it to Disneyland. So that's going to be fun.
That'll be great. Yeah.
We have to meet at the Riviera and ride the gondola.
And
I'm totally down with that.
I love that you've not been on it, but you want more of it. Like that's amazing.
Yeah,
I know
right.
what the people want. I know what the people
We're
want.
increasing World of DVC's video imprint on YouTube, so we're going to make a video of Derek on the Skyliner.
Do it. Just Derek in the Skyliner bucket. A whole 20-minute video. It'll be and you should get the emergency pack out from under the seat and explore all of the things that are in there in case of an emergency. So that'll be perfect. So all right, Panda, anything that we've not talked about that's kind of your blue sky, your Imagineering predictions?
I do think we're going to see a Cars attraction at the berm of Beyond Thunder Mountain. I think.
Ooh.
I don't think we're getting the full land. I don't think we're getting Cars Land. I think we're getting the Cars attraction. And I don't know for sure. This is just what I'm thinking. And the berm will be that back, the back of the mountains. So that'll be kind of cool if we get that. I love Derek's Spectral Magic. I grew up with the Electrical Parade, but Spectral Magic is my favorite. If that came back, I probably would cry, real tears, real ugly cry, because that night, ending the night there with that is just amazing.
I love the idea of a nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom. I just don't know if we as people fully know how to have a nighttime parade in Magic Kingdom anymore. Like, I know they do it for the daytime parade, but like, I don't know. Like,
they've done it they did it for so
long. Years and years ago, I interviewed Lee and Dan Cockrell, and they said they need it, not just because we want it, but the flow of people exiting is ruined by not having it and keeping some of the guests still. So it's a mad exodus out, whereas it would be more controlled if there was a parade or two.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I really hope that we get it back or something. I don't care if it's new, but no more electrical parade. They've sold me the lights from that 25 times. This is the last one.
Anything else on your list, Panda?
I have things on my list, but I'm so scared with Disney because they promise things, and I don't understand. Then they make new predictions, and they don't even go back to the old ones that were great, like the theater. So no, that's it. I say Cars Land and Cars attraction, and some electrical parade, please. That's what I'm hoping for.
Amy, what are your dreams?
I want to see a Monsters Inc. attraction at Disney World. A coaster, maybe like riding the door chase or whatever. Because we don't really have anything like that. We don't really have any Monsters Inc. right at all, except there was
Monsters
a meet and
Inc.
greet. That.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That can go with.
No, I don't care about that.
With Buzz Lightyear for her.
I actually have never seen Spectral Magic, but I would love to see Kate the Knight come back in some capacity at Disneyland, at Disney World. I don't care. Have it for enough time that people can get out and see it if it's at Disneyland. But that's such an amazing parade, and just keep it in storage makes me really sad. But other than that, I definitely agree with Derek on the Skyliner expansion. I think that needs to happen. I think that would be would elevate those resorts. That's about it.
Jeff, let's go. What we got?
We don't have enough time. Are we armchair Imagineering this, or what do I think we're going to see?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Go.
Whatever you want.
I think we're going to see them tell us what Test Track's going to be about, and I think that's it. I think we're not going to get a lot for Epcot.
Ooh,
Might be right.
Okay.
For Epcot, mind you, because we got all kinds of announcements at Epcot last time, and none of them happened. But
that's true.
What I would like to see is all in on Animal Kingdom. The South America idea, I think, is great.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give me my Cave of Wonders, Aladdin flying carpet roller coaster that I've wanted for 20 years in Asia somewhere. Whatever they can add to Animal Kingdom so that it stays open past like 4:30, because that park is so beautiful at night, and it is a shame that nobody gets to see it. So I want Encanto, I want Indiana Jones, I want Aladdin, and I want whatever else they can think of. Zootopia out at the conservation station.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make that a full day park. That's what I want.
And a nighttime show.
And we all forgot about Stitch's Great Escape. Like, what are they doing with that space?
Oh yeah, that's just been gone.
Storage.
Maybe we'll hear something.
I don't know. My list of dreams. We mentioned this. We talked about DVC for a period of time. I think we'll get confirmation. As much as Derek doesn't want, some sort of Disney Vacation Club resort is going to be announced. There's nothing beyond the Poly expansion at this point, really. And so there needs to, at the pace that Disney Vacation Club is adding to these properties and at the revenue that these hotels and resorts bring to these parks and resorts, they're just going to keep building them. They're just going to keep finding new homes. I think that since we're doing Poly right now, I think the most logical thing would be to then go build a new resort over on the Reflection space so that you do have a brand new property that's going to potentially align itself with Polynesian selling out, and also Riviera. Riviera will get close here eventually to a sellout. So when that happens, they are going to need like another property. The other thing that we could eventually hear about with Disney Vacation Club is the Bay Lake Tower expansion. So there's been plans for many years of a second Bay Lake Tower as part of the Contemporary Resort. I could see that easily being announced at some point in the future. But sorry, Derek.
Fix the first one first. Fix the first one first.
That's coming.
Then don't worry about the second one.
Yeah. And in terms of like something that's just like an extreme wish that I have, and this is like far out there, and Disney will never do it, but it's harnessing kind of what Walt did in the beginning, which was let something be Imagineered. Bring something to the parks or the resorts that we've never seen before, that has an IP that we've never seen before. And I don't care if that you tie that directly to a movie right away and people fall in love with both things. But, we at this point, we wait for a new movie or a TV show or something to do good, and then we add that character to the parks. We haven't even talked about the biggest missed opportunity that Disney has right now, which is Bluey, and adding Bluey to the parks, which I hear is supposed to be coming. They're kind of in negotiations about what that looks like, but you can guarantee that if we don't hear something about that in the near future, that's a huge missed opportunity, especially when it comes to newer generations of younger kids. But wouldn't it be cool to see an attraction like Jungle Cruise or like Pirates or one of these original attractions that came as it was just completely dreamed up in someone's head, that really didn't come from, a movie or an IP, but it became so popular that it then had a movie or an IP related to it. It's a big gamble, and I fully acknowledge that, but I think it just could go much better than you would ever imagine that it would if you took the time, if you polled the right people. Because that's the other thing, is polling, talking to people, talking to your audience, talking to the people that you love and that love your parks. I don't think Disney does enough of that when it comes to making some of these decisions. And then you end up with what we had 2 years ago for D23, which was, we're thinking about doing all of this. What do you think? And it's like, this is not the time in which you should be asking this question. You should have asked this question in polls and in focus groups and all kinds of other stuff well before this. And then it's like, boom, there you go. And there you have it. Because that would be a truly magical thing to have happen. And I'll take that one step further. And then, Jeff, I know you had something to add there. But I remember watching D23 several years ago, and it was when they had just redone Fantasmic at Disneyland. And it was such a surprise and a shock and awe moment that they said, oh, yeah, and everyone's going to go over there tonight and we're going to see it. And no one expected that.
Yeah,
I would love to see some sort of very cool moment come out of this D23. Some cool moment that just makes you walk away with your jaw dropped. To the people that are attending, that are paying a lot of money to attend, it was worth every penny. And for us sitting at home, we're kind of like, oh, I wish I was there. And so I want kind of just that butterfly feeling, those goosebumps, something in the presentation that really does that.
Yeah, I agree. And to your point, I've actually said this for years, I'm kind of over the Disney IP rides. I kind of think they're ruining Epcot and what its vision was by adding Frozen, adding Remy, we talk about Coco. You list anybody's 5 favorite attractions at Disneyland or at Magic Kingdom, and most people's lists are going to include Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion. None of those were based on a movie, And so I kind of wish that they would take the reins off a little bit and just let Imagineering do what they do best and think up new crap. And to your point, Paul, to give us stories for the next generation that can inspire more movies. We've got our Jungle Cruise movie. We've got our Haunted Mansion movie. We have 17 big Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I would love to see that. And then I just kind of wanted to give some food for thought as we're wrapping up here. $60 billion was the investment that was announced at whatever shareholder meeting that they were going to put into the parks and experiences. So I'm doing math and I'm thinking about all the things and what things have cost in the past. Cars Land was this and Toy Story Land was that. We're nowhere close to 60 billion with what we've talked about here in this group. And I'm wondering, and this is a way out there. All we've been talking about is the D23 in August, but there's another D23 in November, and it's in Brazil. Do we think we're getting a South America park? They've wanted one for years.
That's interesting.
That would make sense.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why to do it in Brazil if they didn't have something that they wanted to showcase down there.
Yeah, I think the we haven't talked about international parks in general, but the continued expansion of all of those is huge to Disney's footprint and really allows them. You look at the parks division is so important to the overall brand and the overall shareholder value of the Walt Disney Company now. That why not diversify away from the 1 or 2 parks that really are your moneymakers that are here in the US. Let's have a park in Brazil. Like again, I don't want to get politics involved, but everything that happened down in Florida over the course of the past year to 2 years, I think has had Disney question future investment down here, and so that you're always if you put your shareholder hat on and you start to think about how do I diversify my portfolio more, Jeff, that makes perfect sense. Adding another Disney park around the world is a logical, next step for them.
To put food for thought, Epic Universe price tag, they've got it at about $1 billion.
Oh,
that's what Universal has
really
said that it's going to cost. Yeah, $1 billion.
No, hold on. Rise of the Resistance itself cost around 500 million. So
Cars Land in Disneyland cost 500 million. Cars Land.
Right. So how is Epic Universe just 4 Cars Lands?
I'm just telling you.
It's like a lot. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe stuff went up so much now because that's crazy. Epic Universe, I would have thought would have been like at least 5.
My point is, even at $1 billion a ride, that's the $60 billion is a lot of money that we haven't accounted for yet. So
they could take $6 billion and make a Brazil park. Yeah,
$1 billion goes a long way.
Yeah, I mean he's right. Everything says 1 billion that you look at.
So, well, there's our thoughts. And as of this going up, we will only have about a week and a half or so to wait and get the full scoop on what is coming to D23. As I mentioned previously, the Sunday morning after D23 at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will all be going live to discuss everything and all 20 new Disney Vacation Club properties that will be opening as a result of the DVC and D23 convention. Yeah, it'll be fun to kind of revisit this after all of that news broke. We will probably all be hopped up on some coffee that day after staying up late the night before, but it'll be fun to kind of just see what we actually concretely know for the future of the parks and resorts and what might be kind of some dreaming that Disney maybe revealed at the convention. Let us know your thoughts in the comments of this video or of this podcast. What do you hope might be coming to the D23 convention and coming to our beloved Disney parks and resorts over the coming years? Let us know if we missed anything or anything. Also, as always, please hit that thumbs up button, like and subscribe to our DVC Fan YouTube channel. And for additional content, head to dvcfan.com, the DVC Fan Facebook group, and behind the scenes at patreon.com/DVCFan. that is it. I feel like I need to take a breath. We will see you all next Monday.
I'm going on the Skyliner.